This was the last point which we saw yesterday, day before yesterday. That is the classification of entrepreneur. Now we know the person who initiates is called as an entrepreneur. So we are classifying him on few of the uh, basis. Like few scholars, they have classified this person based on the way he initiates. So there are, according to Clarence Danhoff, there are some innovative entrepreneurs who, out of their sheer gut feeling or out of their risk taking ability, they come up with something new. So that something new could be in relation to a new product altogether, new way of serving your customers, or it can be new processes also they innovate and they start their venture. Opposite of this would be adoptive or imitative entrepreneurs. So these this sort of entrepreneurs, they simply copy the format, they copy the business format, and they carry out the activities in their name. Fabian and Drone, there is some similarity. This sort of entrepreneurs, they are not at all risk takers, in the sense that they take quite a calculated risk. Now you will say, ma'am, if they don't take risk, how will they be called as an entrepreneur? Point is, they take least risk when they are venturing into something. So they are highly calculative in nature, they don't want to lose their traditional track of carrying out the things, and they want to start their venture. Then classification by Arthur Cole: empirical, rational, and cognitive. Now, who is an empirical entrepreneur, rational entrepreneur, and cognitive? Empirical, he hardly introduces anything revolutionary, just like Drone and Fabian. They are just continuing with the way they want to carry out the things. Rational, this such entrepreneur, he introduces changes which look more revolutionary, opposite of empirical. So they like to come up with something very revolutionary, no one else has done it earlier, innovation and all nahi hai, something revolutionary they come up with. Cognitive, they take up the advice and services of the experts. So based on their opinion, they introduce the changes that reflect the break from the present situation. So basically they are again risk takers, but then um, giving due consideration to the advices of the consultants and the experts, they start their entrepreneurial venture. Okay, so let us now begin with understanding. Okay, even we finish this trading, entrepreneur, industrial, business, corporate, and agriculture. uh, the terminologies are quite simple. Who is a corporate entrepreneur? Who within the boundary of any organization starts his entrepreneurial venture, जिसको हम बोलते हैं intrapreneur. Agricultural one, who deals with agricultural products, buying and selling of agricultural products, is known as an agricultural entrepreneur. Now, on the basis of usage of technology, how, at what rate he is using the technology. So that classification is like technical, non-technical, and a professional. Is it, am I audible to you clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So technical, non-technical, and a professional one. So who is a technical entrepreneur? This entrepreneur, he possesses technical expertise and know-how. So based on his technical knowledge, based on his technical experience, the technical field experience which he has, based on this, he begins his entrepreneurial venture. So technical expertise could be जैसे कि we stay in a IT hub, one of the IT cities we stay in. So a person who is into IT services, technical services. Suppose the person is from cyber security, or person is from the managed service provider he has worked earlier as. So based on this, when he begins, he is known as a technical entrepreneur. Non-technical, he simply deals with developing alternative marketing and distribution strategies to promote his business. So he is not involving any technical skills. So Maybe the person concentrates more on marketing strategies to grow his business, or he focuses on distribution strategies or distribution channels to promote his business. So such a venture is known as a non-technical venture. The person is known as a non-technical entrepreneur. Then who is a professional? Such entrepreneur is interested in establishing a business who takes no interest in managing or operating once it is established. So my job as a professional entrepreneur is just to establish, just to begin the operations. Later on, as it becomes functioning, as the venture becomes functioning, such entrepreneur takes no interest in managing or operating once it is established. Wait a second. So his job is limited only towards the establishment of the venture. Later on, he is not interested in managing or taking care of it. Then we have another set of classification of entrepreneurs on the basis of motivation. Now, what these sort of entrepreneurs are? They are known as pure entrepreneur, induced entrepreneur, and spontaneous one. So, who are pure entrepreneurs? They are simply motivated by the psychological rewards or economic rewards out of the venture. So for example, for me it is the profit, which becomes a lucrative thing, attractive thing, and out of earning that lucrative profit, I begin as an entrepreneur. So that acts as a motivational factor to me. So this sort of classification, that is on the basis of motivation. अगर किसी को, if somebody wants to begin his entrepreneurial venture, the classification, earlier classification tells me that sometimes it is my technical knowledge, sometimes it is my non-technical knowledge, sometimes it is I just want to carry out the things on my own in a traditional way I want to carry out. So I am categorized as जैसे कि फैबियन हो या ड्रोन हो, लाइक दैट. नाउ दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन इज बेस्ड ऑन द इनर मोटिवेशन of the person. So based on this, how do we classify an entrepreneur as? The pure entrepreneur who is motivated by the psychological rewards or economical rewards. Now psychological rewards would be, if I start this entrepreneurial venture, I will be quite popular in my relatives, that he or she has in this way ventured into something of her own. So out of this psychological thing, I begin working, or I begin functioning as a pure entrepreneur. So this pure entrepreneur, he starts activities for his personal satisfaction, to towards working, or maybe to have particular status, if I want to enjoy a status in society, or just out of my egoistic behavior, I start my activities. Then comes induced entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is induced to take up an entrepreneurial task due to the policy measures of the government. So it's like क्या बोलेंगे, suppose women entrepreneurs. Now for them, lots of assistance, lots of concessions are being given. So the family member, they tell the let's say this lady of the house that, see, these are all the benefits and help and assistance which is being provided by the government, so why not you venture into something of your own. So to avail the benefits and discounts, I am being induced by my family members to become a women entrepreneur. So this is one classification. Spontaneous, or let's say motivated entrepreneurship. Now, such an entrepreneur is motivated by the desire for self-fulfillment. He is also motivated by the desire for innovation and profit. So just like pure entrepreneur, it is for the self-development, or it is for the self-fulfillment. I always wanted to have, or I always wanted to work for myself. So this was the belief or thought I always carried with me throughout my life. So when I got this opportunity, I started working. This is nothing but the spontaneous entrepreneur, or out of this motivation, I began functioning as an entrepreneur called as spontaneous one. Now, other than this, there are other classifications also. इसके अलावा भी entrepreneurship के types है, entrepreneurs के types है. These are called as new entrepreneur, academic entrepreneur, educational entrepreneur, entrepreneur or netpreneur, social entrepreneur. Now, new entrepreneurs who is doing it for the first time, like we have first generation, we have second generation. So, new entrepreneur is like first generation entrepreneur who starts the unit by means of an innovative skill. In my family, I am the one who is into the business. Rest all my family members are let's say the क्या बोलेंगे, maybe they are serving the government or serving they are into service industry. So such entrepreneur is called as first generation entrepreneur, so who is starting something of his own for the first time. Then second comes academic entrepreneur, an entrepreneur who begins his work into the field of academics. Educational one, who works in the field of education. So academic, educational, they belong to the same class. Seventh classification is entrepreneur or netpreneur, where I begin working for myself over internet. So I am using internet as a medium to carry out my activities. I will be termed as an entrepreneur or netpreneur. On ये online वाला on है and net is internet, ठीक है. Social entrepreneur. Now this is quite upcoming in the field of entrepreneurship. Now I am carrying out activities for myself. I have some cause in my mind, but this cause is not to earn profit but to help the society. So tomorrow if I start maybe pet cafe or a dog cafe, so it is a social cause where basically I take care of the stray dogs. So I in this way I find shelters for them, or maybe इस type के जो भी activities, I'm not going in detail of this thing. So I will be known as a social entrepreneur here. Maybe tomorrow if I start school for street children, so it becomes a social cause. So my motive here is not to earn profit, is not to make money, but for the upliftment of the society. I am starting out these activities. We have organizations, child relief and you cry करके है, save the girl child, हाँ इस type के initiatives हैं. So these are all uh, are the brainchild of the social entrepreneurs. ठीक है, everybody with me? Let's jump on to the next simple point to cover from the unit, that is role of entrepreneur in Indian economy. So what role an entrepreneur plays in Indian economy is what we are going to see. Role, or basically entrepreneurs are, we have seen why entrepreneurs are important for any economy. Basically the entrepreneurs create employment opportunities. They are working towards the upliftment of section of the society by creating employment opportunities. People get jobs, people don't remain as unemployed, so they get jobs. So the people who have jobs, they since they have job, they have got disposable income, उनको सैलरी मिल जाती है. सो दे स्पेंड सम अमाउंट ऑफ देयर सैलरी towards something, so that money is being rolled out in the economy, and in this way employment helps economy to become strong. I hope you are able to link what I am trying to tell, that how an employed person helps economy boost? Are you able to link? क्या आप वो कैन यू लिंक व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से कि इकोनॉमी,
Yes, ma'am.
या इकोनॉमी कैसे बूस्ट होती है व्हेन अ पर्सन इज एम्प्लॉयड और व्हेन पर्सन हैज इनकम इन हिज हैंड? ठीक है, कैसे? सपोज आई हैव 100 रुपीज, आई हैव अर्न 100 रुपीज ना, आउट ऑफ दैट 100 रुपीज लेट्स से सब मेरा खर्चा वर्चा जाके आई हैव सम 50 रुपीज विथ मी. नाउ दैट 50 रुपीज is quite a big amount for me. So I have got maybe next 30 days and I have got 50 rupees to spend. अब मानो ये बहुत ही huge amount है for myself. So even if I spend every day, if I spend 2 rupees, still some rupees are left with me. Now the earlier 50 rupees has taken care of all my expenses. Maybe I have a travel pass, my meals are being taken care of, my rent I have paid, maybe the petrol expenses, everything I have calculated in that 50 rupees. So that remaining 50, as I said, if I have to spend every day, I have got 2 rupees. So what do I do? Maybe every week, or let's say on every weekend, I visit a restaurant, and I try to spend my money there. So this week I went to a restaurant. Now next week weekend comes, and now I think then what do I do? So I think of going for shopping. Next weekend I think of going for let's say going to a multiplex. So these are all the options available where I am spending. So multiplexes say government is getting taxes in form of entertainment tax. When I go for when I go out and eat, again there are taxes which I pay and they go into the pockets of the government. Anybody wants to say something? Somebody wants to say? ठीक है.
No
So
teacher.
ठीक है. So in this way, by way of collecting taxes, the economy is collecting money, and in this way the salary which I receive, so I spend it at various places. So this is how the money is role. So what role an entrepreneur plays in Indian economy, or from our economy point of view? In this way, the employment opportunities which are being provided, this way entrepreneur helps in creating them, because I am making the jobs available to my own people staying in the same country. Now somebody explain the rest of the points. Innovator in economic development. Now we have seen how the economy is developed. How is economy developed? By way of entrepreneurship. Job opportunities मिलती है. The talent is retained in the same country, because I'm starting my operations in this country itself. So I'm not thinking of going and serving any other country, any other nation. Rather than that, I believe starting an entrepreneurial venture in this particular country. So talent is retained, employment opportunities are created, more and more people are getting jobs, less people are unemployed. Now when people are employed, they demand for better uh, infrastructural facilities. So in this way they not actually pressurize, but in this way they pursue the local government to make the infrastructure better. And in this way, ये बहुत ही विन विन सिचुएशन की हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं. In this way the economy is developed. So this is the role an entrepreneur plays as an innovator in economic development. Now how this development happens and how the entrepreneurs are actually helping, this can be the explanation for this. Mobilize the local resources. Resource mobilization. uh, I'm staying in this particular state. I'm having some business in this particular state. Now idea comes to my mind that why not use the resources, the natural resources which are abundance in nature, and start something. So what do I do? I make use of the dried leaves, and I try to manufacture something out of these dried leaves. So इस तरह का मैं कुछ बिजनेस में चालू करती हूँ. Now these dried leaves are available only in coastal region. So from this state I have to shift my base कोस्टल स्टेट्स, हाँ, साउथ के जो स्टेट्स है वहां पे. सो व्हाट डू आई डू? वॉट एवर रिसोर्सेस आई हैड, जैसे कि आई हैव शिफ्टेड माई बेस फ्रॉम दिस स्टेट टू अनदर, आई ट्राई टू मोबिलाइज द रिसोर्सेस ऑल्सो अलॉन्ग विथ मी. पूरा के पूरा भी नहीं शिफ्ट करती हूँ, बट आई ट्राई टू यूटिलाइज द लोकल रिसोर्सेस. सम ऑफ द वर्कर्स विच I had here in the state, I move them there so that they can train the newly recruited ones. So this mobilization of resources can also take place. Focus on weak signals, the next practice. Entrepreneurship, or the entrepreneurs, they focus on weak signals. If I don't focus on weak signals, now being an entrepreneur, it is my job to continuously monitor how I am progressing, how my venture is progressing. If at all anything goes wrong, or if at all anything is not performing up to the mark, it gives me a signal and I have to rectify it. Because when I work for someone else, we usually have this tendency of wait and watch. रुको, इतना हम, why should I poke my nose all the time? Wait for some time. This is usual mentality. It's not like Indians who are practicing this. This is usual mentality because we don't know how the other person will take these things. So we wait, but in case of our own ventures, this waiting is not affordable, right? Ensures balanced regional development and brings social stability. Now this, इसमें government is playing a vital role. Now it is the duty and responsibility of the local government to ensure that the balanced regional development happens because of entrepreneurship. Usually what happens, this is the structure. Why Mumbai is the economic capital of India? Because most of the businesses, most of the corporate houses and decision making for the businesses happens in this particular city. So this city is quite powerful. Now compared to this city, the other cities, the tier 2 cities and other metros, they are also developing, but not as developed by this particular city. So when only one city is so much developed and other cities are yet to be developed, what happens? It really hampers the standard of living of that particular city, economic, the overall development which happens in that particular city. So there is some difference. It happens.
Ma'am,
So yes.
is there reason for Mumbai become a capital, economical capital of India because stock exchange started in Mumbai?
No, that is not the reason. See, if you see the history of the city, you will get your answer. Earlier, manufacturing or the textile mills were abundance in Mumbai. There were too many textile. One second. Huh? Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. So earlier, the textile mills were in abundance in Mumbai. Now, along with those, many small offices were operating, and majority of the businesses, they were functioning from this particular city. That was precisely the reason. Stock exchange and all, it is just like giving you the service, they are just serving, and सब listing वगैरह होने वाली सब जगह है, so just trading and all is happening. But then, acha, you are talking that Dalal Street is there. That is why the things are mobilizing more in Mumbai. Is what you are asking me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Maybe we can say that to some extent it can be true, but then there are other factors as well. We are going into, we will discuss this. It's a very interesting topic. Kaise this Mumbai, people wanted that to be part of the neighboring state, and how it got everything. We'll discuss this. I'll remember, and I'll give you my inputs in our next session for this thing.
Okay.
Okay, even you can correct me if I'm going wrong, and we'll have a discussion on this topic. Because from entrepreneurship point of view also, this discussion is quite important.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. So, it is the duty and responsibility of a particular state to ensure that the balanced regional development happens. So, it's not that only one state is progressing, and or few of the states are progressing and other states are not. And the ones who are progressing, they always have to take care of other states rather than they developing. So, in order to avoid all this sort of chaos, uh, the economy or the government's responsibility to ensure that the social stability and balanced regional development takes place. Contemplating and supplementing economic growth, exactly. Export promotion and import substitution. Now, this is an important part of entrepreneurship for any economy. What happens if we are exporting and when we import? Now, when we export, we manufacture here and we sell those goods or services to other countries, meaning we are getting more of foreign exchange and we are serving those nations, right? What happens when we import? Now, when we take things, or rather when we buy things from other nations, we have to give our currency more, in more numbers compared to what we are getting. So, for example, if I am let's say purchasing commodities like oil, or maybe gold for that matter, so to purchase that, I have to actually give away more money because of the valuation of our currency. So when I'm importing, actually I'm spending more on it. I have to convert it into my currency. So it happens to be that I have to pay more for these products. That is why this Make in India and such initiatives, Startup India initiatives are there. So we can promote more and more export. We can start manufacturing maximum things in our country and we can export them. That can be the way of earning foreign exchange. And by doing these, we can also meet the local demands. For smaller things also, we should not import from other countries. Rather than that, if we start manufacturing everything here, or when we start such entrepreneurial ventures, we can meet the local demands. Fine. So this is what is expected from an entrepreneur, from an economy's point of view. So it is duty and responsibility of you entrepreneurs, you all budding entrepreneurs. This can be the way of serving our economy as well. Developing entrepreneurial culture. Now, as a country, when we have to develop this culture, when we have to cultivate this culture amongst the generation, entrepreneurial culture amongst the generation, we have got some points to tackle, we have got some issues to tackle. Like, when there is political stability and the government favorable government policy, then only it helps develop the culture. Now, any example for this? political stability, how it is important for developing entrepreneurial culture. Any example? Anyone? If the political environment of an economy, if it is not stable, there are multiple factors which make the political environment unstable. So when this political environment, if it is unstable, we don't know whether the current policies will be applicable or will remain tomorrow or not. For example, if I want to start something of my own, I submit the business plan to the bank. The bank passes my business plan and sanctions me the loan of, let's say, 5 crores, which is required for me to set up. Now, being a woman entrepreneur, I know that I have got some subsidy, or let's say I have got some concession when I have to actually purchase the land. Now, when I actually go and I believe and I observe that uh, probably after 6 months time, जैसे for example my loan is passed in the month of January. After completing the remaining formalities, time for me and actually examining the required land and finalizing the area, let's say November month comes, end of the year comes, and during these 9 months, because of several other political factors, now I find it quite difficult to find the appropriate land, maybe to close on deals. So it becomes quite, insecure for me to start. Another reason here, now I observe that due to political instability, the loan amount which was being sanctioned, now the bank is giving me some reasons and somehow they are not letting me get the entire loan amount sanctioned. Just imaginary situations we are discussing. So such political instability and government policy say, probably I think of winding up everything which I decided. The situation is not in favor of me. So I think of winding up, or I think of maybe waiting for some more time, for some more time, so that the stability and some policy change may arise again. So when we have to develop in our economy such an entrepreneurial culture, we need to ensure that there is a stable political environment as well as the supporting government policies. Social recognition for an entrepreneur. If there is some social recognition, definitely it acts as a motivation. We have seen in the classification how out of sheer motivation a person can act as an entrepreneur. It is his inner motivation to get some recognition, some social recognition, he becomes an entrepreneur. Then third point is family background and paternal influence. Even the background of the family and influence, the paternal influence, can also play a vital role in developing the culture. Now, there are some societies in our in Indian culture which are known for the entrepreneurial ventures. So usually it is said that it is in their blood, to start a business is in their blood. They don't have to be taught how to deal with people or how to do the business. Few days back, even we discussed how globally Jews are perceived like that. They are the trading class, business people. They have been into the trading for many years now. So this is how we associate, or this is how we label few of the communities in our culture also. So when we have to develop, we need to find out, or we need to concentrate how the background, the family background, and accordingly who is having the influence. So family background plays very important role in developing standard of education and technical knowledge. Even this is something which needs to be focused. Now, if you observe, Germany is a country which has progressed a lot in terms of engineering. Now, if you want to go for higher education in terms of engineering, in the field of engineering, this is the best country. They have developed their curriculum, their syllabus, and overall, they are so good at that subject that people across the globe, they opt for this as their destination. Similarly, when in our society, or let's say from our economic point of view, when we have to inculcate this culture, this entrepreneurial culture, accordingly the standard of education is to be checked, is to be looked upon, and has to be improved. More and more technical knowledge is to be incorporated in the teaching, or let's say in the curriculum of the society. uh, is it clear to you? So when we have to develop this culture from all these angles, we need to do it. Maybe 5 years, 10 years time it will take, but then definitely it will show us the results after some years. After concentrating on these areas, definitely the results will be seen. Okay. Now time for you people to talk a little bit. Now there are factors which influence the growth of entrepreneurship, in a positive way, in a negative way as well. So we have divided these factors into three types: economic factors, social factors, and cultural factors. Economic factors like lack of adequate basic facility. Yes, anyone? Who all are there? Usually I find Komal talking in class, or at least participating. Uh, Sorry, but I don't remember. Even the one who just now spoke, even he participates. So Sudhanshu is Sudhanshu. Have we interacted in class earlier? Yeah. Can I have answers from you? Shubham Patil, Mahesh, Atul, Shraddha, Swapnil, Tanaya, Umakant, Rucha, Priyanka, Prashant. Are you all there? Sakshi, Suvarna, Jnanesh, Ishwari.
Can you please repeat the question once?
May I know who is this?
Yeah, Deepika.
Okay. I was asking that now we are seeing the factors which are influencing the entrepreneurial growth. And these are three factors in front of us. So we have economic factors which influence the growth, social factors, and cultural factors. So I am asking how lack of adequate basic facility can influence the entrepreneurial growth. So any example for this?
Ma'am, it can be of rural places.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, like suppose proper raw materials and proper transportation is not available there.
Hmm.
So even if they want to, even if raw material is not available, they want to purchase from outside. So then transport facilities is also again not available. So they can't get that raw materials also, and they even can't supply the food outside, like their finished products.
Exactly, exactly. So it's like there are some products which require that cold storage, is what you are talking about? The
Of any
perishable.
product, no, like any product, we can say perishable product
Hmm,
also,
hmm,
and
hmm.
others also, like suppose we are saying, like if uh, some products like we are preparing, but even transport facility is not available,
Hmm.
roads are not developed, and those things, so rural villages, so there might be a problem. And sometimes it is also the reason, like if it is retail sector, then customers are also not of that like level, which
Hmm.
don't purchase their products. Like if we take the examples of McD's and Domino's, if it started in the rural areas, it won't work.
Okay, very good. Would just like to add to what you discussed. Sometimes it happens that in rural areas or in remote places, a lot of electricity issues are there. You know, we have unsaid power cut-offs होते रहते हैं. For a longer period of time, the electricity goes off. So during such, in this particular situation, it is very difficult to take care of the production. Now people find ways, but then these basic facility of electricity, if it is not available or it is quite disturbing at times, so manufacturing really it hampers. Similarly, second point, non-availability of capital, raw material and finished goods. Does this affect the growth of entrepreneurship? Non-availability of capital, raw material and finished products or finished goods.
Yeah, ma'am, it affects, and even employees are also not available. It might also be the factor.
Okay. I have a world class idea with me. I have my business plan ready. Everything I have managed excellently. But if the capital is not available, if I visit three or four banks, everybody rejects my application saying that you don't have the background or you don't have anything to keep as security, so we cannot disburse you that much amount of loan. So even if having a world class idea or having everything, but just because of this, I may lack capital, I may not get the required capital. Same thing with raw material.
Can
uh,
we like get the monies from the market, like by issuing the
by issuing,
shares or something like?
but then to
Again,
issue,
lots of formalities it requires, and
see, for issuing the shares, first you need to register your company. You need to show that this is how the working and the other legal formalities you need to do. Shares, if I make the shares available in the market, but who will purchase the share if it's a new company? Because investors also look for the history, how the company has performed earlier. So beginning by it becomes difficult. Now big business people, what do? They do generate or they do create or they form capital by way of shares, but it's not for their first venture. The established ones, when they want to, for example, just say suppose Tata Group, when it wants to enter into the field of entertainment, suppose, so like we have PVR cinemas, so Tata's का भी कुछ एक ऐसा ही कोई सिनेमा हॉल्स की चेन दे वांट टू एस्टैब्लिश. So for this venture, they are totally new in this venture, but for them business is not something new. So for such people, uh, by way of having shares and generating money is possible, but not for newcomers like you and me. Because I know that you are very hardworking girl, but then how will people believe that okay, she is a hardworking girl, uh, let's buy her share and make the money available to her, right? So that becomes a difficulty, and really it affects the entrepreneurial growth. If the money is not available, maybe sometimes the raw material is not available in quantities, or let's say the amount which I require, as well as the finished product. If there is no market for the finished products, usually we see in newspapers that these tomato growers, they literally throw the crops on the roads because they don't get the required rate for their produce. This is, we see this. Otherwise they would have sold it to the cold storage or maybe sold to the food processing industries. Such things may have happened and reduced the losses. कैसे होता है, क्या होता है, वी आर नॉट गोइंग इन डिटेल ऑफ दैट, बट दिस इज हाउ द नॉन अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ कैपिटल एंड रॉ मटेरियल affects the growth of entrepreneurship. Business risk involved. Yes, risk is involved in any sort of business. So if that risk is not tackled properly, जैसे मैंने बोला, I have world class idea, my products are good, I am ready to take the risk, I am ready to uh, maybe keep my क्या बोलते हैं, सब में बेच के आई ट्राई टू क्रिएट द कैपिटल, आई मेक द कैपिटल रेडी, but the business risk which is involved here, I don't know whether I will be able to market my products correctly, whether I will be successfully able to export them correctly, whether the export policies will be in my favor or not. Such business risk, if I am uncertain about, I won't be able to start with my venture. Non-availability of skilled labor. The same example of IT project, if we take, I have a very good plan. इतने सालों के experience है. I think of starting my own IT firm, IT services company. But if I don't find the required labor, I won't be able to start and I won't be able to sustain also. Now, these are the risks, but then these are the factors which influence, which make me think twice before beginning the venture. Are you getting it? Then there are some social factors: customs, traditions, social system, and setup. Our culture is so that, as I said, some societies or some cultures or some communities are basically known for these entrepreneurial ventures, for they are known as business class people. So if somebody from this background, if he wants to, if he doesn't want to start an entrepreneurial venture, then it's a pressure on him from his family people that हमारे घराने में आज तक किसी ने नौकरी नहीं की है, so you are the first one to do that, so please don't do like that. So there is pressure from the family, as well as my customs and traditions, they also don't allow me at times, maybe allow me to work or allow me not to have my business. So social factors and cultural factors are also there which influence the growth. ठीक है, moving further, entrepreneurship as a career. Now again, time for you to talk. How many of you, tell me, look at entrepreneurship as a career option? Maybe if not immediately, maybe after 5 years time or after 2 years time, how many of you are looking at entrepreneurship as a career option? Anyone remotely thinking about starting?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. In service, we have limitations. After a certain time, we have to take a retirement.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking about business as a career after, or I would like to start it now.
Very good. What's your name?
Ajay Gaikwad.
Ajay. Okay. Good, Ajay. Very nice. Anybody? So, for you, reason of entering or thinking of starting something of your own is in services, or while we are in service, we retire after a period of time, which does not happen in case of an entrepreneurship. In case of your own venture, that you can work till you want to work. So you want to enjoy that liberty of working. You want to start your entrepreneurial venture. Is that so, Ajay? Ajay, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Is that the reason that you want to start your entrepreneurship? because you
Uh,
want to enjoy the timeless or limitless period which
yeah.
this entrepreneurial venture gives you.
Yes, and one more thing, ma'am.
Hmm.
Suppose a doctor, engineer, the professional people don't have age limit, don't have a retirement age, so they can doing the practice after the 60, or while they want to.
Hmm. Very good point. So the professionals, they don't have the age limit, but people who are working for someone else, they definitely have got this age limit. Exactly. Anyone? Very good point, Ajay. Very nice. Quite convincing points you have raised. Anybody else? Okay. So we'll come across discussing this slide throughout our curriculum, that viewing entrepreneurship as a great career choice. Treating entrepreneurship as a style of management. Uh, Now, why we are treating entrepreneur? I find today's class not interacting at all. At least sometimes, at least some people are there. 4 or 5 people are there. At least whenever I ask something, they give me reply. So ऐसे मत करो यार. I like talking to you all because you participate. Hmm? So looking at entrepreneurship as a style of management. Now, organization and management of enterprise is the main function of an entrepreneur. Now, what happens for an entrepreneur? His organization, his venture, and managing or taking care of his venture or an enterprise is the basic lookout of any entrepreneur. If for example, if I am running a small cafe, for me, organizing everything, taking care of the interior, managing the staff, managing the menu, managing the walk-in customers, handling the monetary issues, managing the working as an HR, uh, uh, by way of recruiting the chefs, by recruiting the cooks, the support staff, in सबको recruit करना, assisting them, managing their leaves, everything. So this becomes my main function as an entrepreneur when I am owning a cafe. Purpose is to allocate the purpose is to allocate the productive resources. Why this thing comes? I don't know why this prompt comes. Purpose is to allocate the productive resources to minimize losses and reduce costs in production. Now, the reason an entrepreneur pays so much attention is, since he is taking care of his own venture, he needs to allocate the appropriate resources to minimize the loss. For example, while finding out the chef, now जैसे कि मानो I am recruiting chef who is expert in cooking pasta and let's say pizza, and in that place of the chef, if I recruit somebody who is a bakery chef, it will be a loss because the bakery person does not know how to bake, and how to bake pasta and how to cook pizza, whatever it is. So I am actually mixing two things, and the result will be lost to me because I have recruited a wrong person. If in an organization, when I am recruiting the HR personnel for my organization who will be involved in recruiting, training and development, selection, payroll, and everything. And in that place, if I recruit somebody who is from marketing or somebody who is from uh, the technical side, they will not understand the role of HR who is into recruiting, role of person who is acting as in charge of training and development. So it will be a huge loss. So to avoid this, I have to be actively involved as an entrepreneur to manage the operations. Are you getting it? Though organization grows, but decision making remains within. Now, here what happens when the cafe is small, for example, when the cafe is small, I'm managing everything on my own. Slowly and steadily, the cafe grows. थोड़ा size बड़ा हो जाता है. Now I have to open another branch of the cafe. I have to recruit more people now. I have to expand my business. So what happens? I need to have more and more people who will do these kind of jobs for me. I cannot, once I grow, once I expand, I cannot take care of kitchen, I cannot take care of front office, I cannot take care of operations and back end management. So I need to have these specialized people. Now, though I recruit specialized people, but then final authority or final decision making remains with me only, because it is ultimately my venture. So, in this way, this entrepreneurship as a style of management, when we look at it, it includes the person to perform as a good planner, coordinator, supervisor, everything. Though he is an owner, but these are the roles which he has to play. Fine. So we'll stop our session here, and we'll begin with the last point which we are discussing from this particular unit as the emerging models of corporate entrepreneurship. So corporate entrepreneurship and the emerging models will be the last point to discuss from this particular unit, and which will be covered in next session, and we'll begin with second unit. So I hope the things are clear. In case any doubts, please ask me, and I remember what I have to discuss in our next class. Mumbai Stock Exchange, how this link, and because of that, whether it is called as the क्या बोलते हैं, the capital, the financial capital of India. So that will be the next point I will be discussing in our class. All right.
Yes.
So we'll stop our session for today here, and I'll see you next time. All right. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So bye bye. Take care and have a great day. Good
Ma'am?
night. Yes.
Can you send the PPT?
Yes, I will send. Let me just finish this unit and I'll send it to you. Once I complete it, next session में मैं भेज देती हूँ. ठीक है?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you
No
so much.
problem.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Bye bye. Good night. Bye bye. Bye bye.